Hello there, my name is Tash Ashvin. I am so super excited to be here today delivering this training, this workshop for the amazing Rebel Ma Summit. Big thank you to Saoirse. You are amazing, sister, and what you've pulled together here is truly extraordinary. The conversations, the topics, the workshops, the roundtables, they've all been absolutely amazing. And yeah, I know that there's been so much gold delivered throughout the last 4 or 5 days of this summit. And I'm excited to be here today to share my little piece as well. So I am talking today on the topic of business alchemy. Before I get into that, I'll do a little introduction so you know who you are learning from. My name is Tash Ashwin. I live in Newcastle in Australia. I am a holistic business mentor and quantum hypnotherapist. And I support my clients, soulful entrepreneurs, to expand and grow their business by aligning to their purpose, aligning their energetics, and activating their aligned strategy. So we're going to be diving into this today because, as you are probably all aware, if you are in business, it is a pretty rocky roller coaster ride. It can be full of huge ups and downs. Aside from like motherhood and relationships, I don't actually think that there's much out there that challenges us just like business does. And I have been in business for the last 13 years. I've been a business mentor for 7 of those 13 years. And I've been in clinic, running my own clinic as a hypnotherapist, as an EFT practitioner, as a human design analyst for the last 8 years as well. So I've come through many different seasons in my life in business. There was a time when I literally couldn't, back in the day when people used to come to me and pay me in cash, I literally couldn't accept money from people. I would have them leave it in a particular jar by the front door. And I'd say, I don't, just pay me whatever you think it's worth. And of course, that led to so many difficult, awkward, uncomfortable conversations for me because I was so uncomfortable with the idea of receiving money, with the idea of even talking about money. And I had to really come to terms with the fact that business, no matter how spiritual we are, no matter how, much personal development we've done, at the core of it, like at the very rudimentary core, business is exchanging goods and services and products for cash, for money. And so many of us tend to forget that in business. So many of us tend to forget that, the very rudimentary basics of business is that it is an exchange of energy, of service, of product for money. Now, I like to see business as being very multidimensional. And we're going to talk about this today because that's a very 3D, a very crude understanding of what business is. But my belief system is that, yes, that is what it is at the 3D. It's very related to money. It's very related to exchange. But we're really spearheading a new direction when it comes to business. So many people are turning to business, people who are on their own personal development journey, who've gone through their own healing experience, and who are now recognizing that they have gifts and wisdom and incredible knowledge and incredible, like true power and potency to share with the world. And they don't want to work for other people anymore. They want to work for themselves. They desire more freedom. They desire more prosperity. They desire to have the choice. And business is the thing that really is solving a lot of people's problems. I am such a stand for what I call business alchemy. And so this is what we're going to be delving into today. And I am going to pull up some notes just so I stay on track and I don't go over time. Business alchemy is a process, a framework that I've developed over the last 8 years in business. Been teaching it for the last 6 years. And it really is a grand synthesis of all of the different modalities, approaches, perspectives, angles that I work with my clients. Now, the people that I work with typically are what I like to call soulful entrepreneurs. So that means that the work they do in their business, they wholeheartedly believe is a deep connection to their soul's purpose. They're not just in it as a hustle. They're not just in it for the money. They are in it because it is deeply connected to purpose. It is deeply connected to mission. It is deeply connected to the reason why they have incarnated in this body, in this lifetime, at this precise point in history. So if that is you, if you resonate with that, then you are absolutely in the right space, in the right company. And the very particular energetics of soulful entrepreneurs brings with it a very particular experience in business. So yes, everyone who is in business will experience the great personal development roller coaster ride that is facing your fears, confronting your shadows, overcoming your belief systems, challenging yourself, finding the courage to step out there and be seen in bigger and bolder and bigger ways, and to serve, ultimately to serve the collective in a more potent and powerful and visible way. But if you are a soulful entrepreneur, it means that your business and the people that you work with in your business are very deeply connected to the core of your soul's work. I'll say that again. If you are a soulful entrepreneur, it means that the people that you serve, the way upon which you serve, and the personal experiences that you have as you go through this journey of business is very deeply connected to your soul's work. It is in your soul contract. It is like so deeply a part of what you're here to do in this lifetime at this precise point in history, that if you don't see it through this lens, you can end up feeling very like personally impacted if it doesn't go the way you want. So obviously nothing in life will tend to go exactly the way that we want. And when we have really high expectations, we are opening ourselves up to, the failures of perfectionism. Really, there is no such thing as perfectionism, right? But when we have a perfectionist outlook, we look for the impossible, which is the perfect. My experience working with many spiritual, soulful entrepreneurs, women, men, therapists, healers, mentors, coaches, service providers, publishers, people who do this really powerful work, ultimately comes back to this one core thing. If you are a soulful entrepreneur, then at some level, your business is designed to be a catalyst for transformation, for the transformation of your clients and for the transformation of yourself. Transformational business is ultimately, I believe, where we are heading as we ascend into the new earth. People often call it the 5D, I actually believe it's more than the 5D, but as we merge body, mind, and soul and take that out into the reality that we live in. Your work, your service is transformational by nature. And so as a result, it means that the deeper you are connected to the core of your purpose, the core of your life's journey, the core of like the lessons that you have extracted and like the marrow that you have sucked out of your life's experience, the more you're going to be able to elicit profound transformation for the planet. Now, I believe at some point, all of us here in this amazing summit believe that we are or have a desire to contribute to the elevation of the collective consciousness. I definitely see there is the old way of doing business and there is the new way of doing business. There is the ego way of doing business and there is the heart-centered way of doing business. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. How to create a heart-led business that is rooted in purpose and prosperity and that channels your ancestral intuitive wisdom as a vehicle for that. So business alchemy is the 4 pillars. And I'm going to go through an outline of this, of what the 4 pillars are. I'm going to be spending about 5 to 7 minutes really delving into each pillar and giving you some really powerful contemplation questions, some powerful insight into how you can spot which of these 4 pillars you might need to tweak, you might need to shift in order to come into full alignment. And then I'm going to take you through a really beautiful visualization just to ground all of what we're talking about in your somatic wisdom, in the wisdom of your body. So let's get started. So of course, the Rebel Mars Summit is all about accessing matriarchal wisdom. It's all about reconnecting back to the power of the feminine. It's all about like giving women a voice. And I am such a stand for that as a business mentor. I ultimately believe that when a woman, like money in the hands of good women is a good thing. And when women have money, they do good things with that, right? So ultimately, this new wave of prosperity, which is what we're going to talk about today, is all about contributing to collective change and service and shifting the consciousness of the planet. So the 4 phases. Now, I'm going to note that spirituality is a very important piece connected to your soul's mission, your soul's purpose. Spirituality, prosperity, and alignment to your soulmate clients form the foundation of these 4 phases. We're going to really delve into that and unpack it and climb into it. This is going to become almost a little bit spiral-like in nature. You're going to find yourself kind of weaving back through these 3 different themes and 3 different topics. Ultimately, because this is a multidimensional experience. We are multidimensional beings. Business is multidimensional. It is not 2-dimensional. There is much more to it than just the 3D exchange of goods and services for money, as I flagged at the beginning. And at the core crude, root of it, that is what we're doing as well in exchange for shifting the collective consciousness. So the first phase in this business alchemy 4-phase framework is what I like to call rooting in purpose. So purpose, you think of your business, if it is not deeply connected to your soul's purpose, or if you're not sure how it connects to your soul's purpose, you're going to find yourself feeling untethered. I see purpose as the thing that roots you, connects you, grounds you into yourself, into your power, and into the earth. When you are not rooted in your purpose, it is very easy for you to get caught up in the next big thing. It is very easy for you to get swept abreast of big, collective global change or global crisis. Being connected to your purpose and your mission is very important for keeping your eye on the tightrope which you are walking when it comes to what it is that you do in your business. This is the sole reason for your work. This is your calling, your business. If you identify with being a soulful entrepreneur, then your business is so deeply connected to your soul's purpose. So what is that? Why are you here doing what you do in your business? Why are you showing up time and time again? Why are you alchemizing the sweat and tears and the emotional roller coaster ride that is being in business? Why do you do it? Why do you not just choose to go back to employment, to finding a job? Why do you actually bear the sensation of vulnerability that comes with building a personal brand, that comes with showing up to social media, showing up time and time and time again, even when people in your family, in your personal life may have called you crazy, may have dissed you, may have criticized you, may have judged you, may have humiliated you? Why do you bear that? Why do you continue to show up for this in the face of that? This is a really important question, everyone, because as we know, as entrepreneurs, we're wired a little bit differently to quote unquote everyone else, right? You have to be a little bit crazy, I believe. There has to be an element of adrenaline seeking in your nervous system in order to bear the sensation of being in business. Business is a massive roller coaster ride for your emotional well-being, for your nervous system, for money in the realm of money. It is a roller coaster ride. It is not like an employment it is not like being employed where that employment is locked down by a contract, where there is safety and security and exactly the same amount of money coming in every week. Although, of course, we can create systems inside business that supports that, like monthly recurring revenue systems, which I do with my clients, absolutely essential. But it is a very different ball game, right? We have a very different experience as an entrepreneur. And as a result, we need to be wired a little bit outside the box. Most of my clients who consider themselves soulful entrepreneurs will also identify with being the black sheep of the family. They do things a little bit differently. They think in a much more innovative, creative, outside the box way. They're very comfortable. They might not be very comfortable, but they can bear the sensation of the roller coaster intensity ride that is business. Now, because of this, why? We want to ask this question, why is this the case? For so many of us, it is because our business is so deeply connected to our purpose. Now, that's not to say that if you are employed, that is not connected to your purpose as well, because of course it is, right? And you will bear the very different experience of what it means to be an employer, an employee. But being in business, when you are a soulful entrepreneur, you need to know, I believe, you need to have a clear reason, a clear understanding why you're doing what you're doing. What is the bigger amorphic reason behind why you do what you do? And this is especially true if you are in the service-based business, if you are a catalyst for transformation in some way, shape, or form. Your life will have been guiding you divinely, in my opinion, through its own roller coaster experience of major ups and major downs. You would have learned many lessons through your life experience. You would have loved many things, and you would have lived through many different things. And the more experience you have in your life, the more that shapes the space that you hold for your clients, your capacity to facilitate phenomenal transformational results, and the perception you have around why you do what you do and how what you do fits into the greater fabric of the collective. I like to call this the golden thread that connects your lived experience with the transformational work that you facilitate for your clients. And when you can see clearly what that thread is, and there's often many threads, but when you can understand, okay, so this is the work that I do now. So for me now, I work in supporting clients to scale their business. I'm also a publisher like Saoirse. So I help my clients to find their voice and to heal their story through publishing it to the world. I support them to crystallize their genius in the form of highly transformational programs and products that facilitate phenomenal results and that lead to fantastic profit that is aligned to their soul's mission and to their values. But my personal experience and the things that I lived through, the things that I alchemized, was all of that so that I could get to the point where I feel congruent, where I feel like I can really stand in my power and my congruence and my so what I want to find, there's a word, it's not coming to me. Like I can really stand, I can really back that. I can really be 100% aligned to that, to those facilitating those outcomes. Okay. If I wasn't able to see how my lived experience, the things that I've alchemized, the trauma, the life experience that I've been through, yes, of course, the qualifications and the professional experience that I've also generated, but how all of that has led to this point right here, right now, where I can hand on my heart say the work that I do with my clients, it works. It facilitates phenomenal transformation, and it is deeply connected to my purpose. Then I become untethered in my business. My message is all over the place. I find it difficult to articulate with real clarity, with real precision, with grounded languaging. I can often find myself like living up in the upper realms, which is lovely to be in, but it's actually not hitting the mark for my clients and for my potential clients particularly. Now, this is what I see with a lot of people. So how do we actually anchor and root down into our purpose behind what we're doing in business and find the soul mission, find the different elements and nuances and contracts, soul contracts that we've actually decided upon before incarnating in this lifetime, and connect that to my business? I do that through a number of different ways with my clients. Some of my favorite ways is through quantum hypnotherapy. So supporting my clients to really drop into a trance state, an altered state, where the conscious mind is out of the way and we are connecting directly with not only the subconscious, but the superconscious and the higher self. Often a lot of ancestral, sometimes very starseed, extraterrestrial, cosmic energies drop in as well, so that my client can really be able to get the conscious mind out of the way and channel the purpose behind why they're doing what they're doing. Now, I actually do this on a semi-regular basis with my clients because as we evolve in our life's journey, so too can our purpose. We can understand it in deeper ways. But this is not a process you want to do through conscious inquiry. That's what I've learned. You want to find ways and tools and strategies that you can support you to get the conscious mind out of the way. That might be activating deeper wisdom through the dream state. That might be shamanic journeying. That might be hypno journeying, like I shared before. That might be channeling through other methods. might be connecting with the energy of your business. And this is a concept I love to talk about with my clients, that your business has its own frequency, its own energy, its own soul mission. And it chose you, just like babies choose, or souls choose their parents. Your business actually chose you to be its parent / its collaborator, more of a collaborator, really, collaboration role, to enact a very precise mission on the planet. So connect with the energy of your business, connect with the energy that chose you, and ask it, what is its mission? And how has its mission and your mission come together to beautifully collaborate? And then anchor into that, like root down into that. Find yourself become so deeply connected to that in your core that no matter what happens externally, no matter what global crisis, no matter what financial trauma you might experience or financial roller coaster ride, no matter what that person says, no matter what your mom, your dad, your auntie, your cousin, your high school friend, your ex-boyfriend, your husband, your children, no matter what people say, you are like deeply rooted and deeply connected to your purpose. And it is like you are the flagpole, and you're not swayed. So this is the first absolute essential component to business alchemy, because the foundation upon which you build a strategy and enact a strategy will only ever be as solid and secure as your capacity to connect to this. So I encourage you to think about all of what I've shared in the first phase, rooted in purpose, and see, like, where am I still not 100% committed or 100% congruent or 100% clear with those aspects of myself? Okay, let's move on to phase 2. Phase 2 and phase 1 lock together to form the foundation. So phase 2 is energetic alignment. Now, this is all about harmonizing your personal energy with your business vision, harmonizing your inner blueprint. I do a lot of work with unique energies of all of my individual clients. You have a very unique energy, a very unique way in which your energy functions out there in the world, in which your energy actually, your experience of your energy. And I use a lot of the human design and the Gene Keys body of work to understand that about my clients. So this is multifaceted here. If you haven't looked into your human design or your Gene Keys, I absolutely encourage you to go down that inquiry. Basically, it is a grand synthesis of many of the ancient traditions, including astrology, the I Ching, the chakra system, the Nadi system. There's another one in there, it'll come to me, the Jewish Kabbalah, and it has synthesized it and modernized it for today's day. So it works very much like the astrology chart, where you plug in your birth information, your time, location, and date of birth, and it will spit out a very precise energetic blueprint of you. And this is how you are energetically wired to function in the world. I often liken it like this with my clients. If you're not creating business strategies, marketing tactics, visibility strategies, scaling strategies that have your human design in mind, you are swimming upstream. So if you think about the amount of energy that it requires to swim against the current, have you ever been caught in a rip and you've tried to swim back to shore only to find you just keep getting swept further and further back, no matter how many times, no matter how much energy you put into your stroke? And they always say the best way to come out of a rip is to actually go with the rip, swim adjacent to the rip, and then eventually you're going to come out. Likewise, have you ever caught a rapid going down a river and you just get taken by that rapid? It takes you. It is effortless. You are carried by the rapid. This is the exact experience of what it's like to scale a business in alignment with your unique blueprint and your human design versus misaligned to your unique blueprint and your human design. I absolutely feel like the decisions that I made prior to learning about human design and like studying it and becoming an analyst, the decisions that I made, the strategies that I worked with, like I could have the mentors that I invested in, I literally could have saved myself tens of thousands of dollars a huge amount of heartache if I had have learned about human design sooner. Now, do I regret it? No, because it gave me great wisdom, great lived experience that I will always anchor back into when I work with my clients. However, learn from my mistakes. If you can scale your business in alignment to your strategy inside your human design and your authority inside human design and understand how you're wired, it's going to give you so much. Like, you are catching the rapid. You are in the rapid state. You are in the flow state in business. You become more magnetic. Your words carry more meaning. People find you. It becomes like the synchronicities just start to really stack up. The law of attraction engages, right? It feels easy. Business becomes easy. It becomes fun. It becomes how it should be. There's not so much loaded into it, not so much heaviness loaded into it. So that's one component of energetic alignment. Obviously, aligning the nervous system, aligning the energy centers in the body, working through the different vowels and blocks that can come through the chakra system. I love working with the chakra system because it gives us such a powerful map. So looking at the root and understanding, what's happening in the root system, what ancestral beliefs am I still carrying about business, about money, about being seen, about speaking my truth, about feeling safe in the world, about belonging in the world. Where am I still holding on to stress and anxiety about money? Where am I still stuck in survival energy, keeping me spinning? Where am I still living paycheck to paycheck energetically in my business? Where am I avoiding working with strategies that are actually going to support my nervous system to feel safe? Very important questions. That's just in the root chakra, in the base chakra. And then, of course, we have this notion, this idea that your business has its own energy. And how do we align with the energy of your business? If you can find a date for the date that your business was quote unquote born, then you can also look up your business's human design, and you can overlay your profile with your business profile to see how do we come together energetically. Now, this is possible if you have an email, if it was the day that you registered your business name, or the day that you registered in Australia, we have the ABN, the Australian business number, for tax purposes. But if you can find a precise date and time, then you're going to be able to uncover so much information about your business energetics. I love doing this for my clients. It gives them so much context, helps them to understand the different way in which their business is wired to flow and function in the world. And it can absolutely support us at the spiritual level, at the soul level, when we recognize that our business has its own energy, its own purpose, its own mission, its own frequency. Have you ever thought, if you're stuck in your business, have you ever thought about actually asking your business where it needs support? Or do you go up into your head in analysis? Or do you go into paralysis, freeze, aversion, flight? Do you get angry with it? Do you get angry with the world? Do you get angry with the situation? So many of these things that we do can actually actively separate us from the wisdom that lives inside our business entity. And we can channel that when we get the conscious mind out of the way and we allow the subconscious, which is really like a giant antenna that we can dial, tune to different frequencies, different stations. You can think of it like a radio. We are able to access different information, bypasses all of what we think we know and all of the things that we think we don't know as well. Okay, so rooted in purpose is the first phase. Energetic alignment is the second phase. The third phase, I like to call aligned strategy. So important, I'm going to reiterate it again, so important to understand that your business strategy must be in alignment with your human design, with your blueprint, with your innate energy. Otherwise, it's going to be a big fat waste of money. And I know that sounds really crude. That has been my experience after working in business for so many years and supporting hundreds and hundreds of soulful entrepreneurs over the last 8 years of mentoring and coaching. So, aligned strategy. This phase merges intuitive guidance, which allows for structures that support purpose, with structural strategy. So intuition and strategy come together here. This is where we connect with soul clients, soulmate clients, soul contract clients, clients that have an absolute like soul contract to work with us. And when we understand this from this level, it's like it brings so much more meaning and symbolism to the work that we do. So it's also very much understanding your unique sales blueprint, the way upon which you are designed to show up, to serve, to sell, to speak, to market, to position your message out there in the world. Now, this is unique for everyone because everyone has a different blueprint. So I will always make sure that I design strategies with my client's blueprint in mind. But I love at this phase, I love to think about the sales spiral. And I like to use this symbolism because it feels very feminine to me. So if you imagine, and I'll briefly explain it, if you imagine that you and your business are at the core of the spiral, you and your business have collaborated together, to create a series of products and programs and services that are transformational by nature, creates change in people's lives. They are a catalyst for change, catalyst for transformation, a catalyst for liberation, right? So you and your business collaborate, and the energy that comes from the collaboration between you and your business through the soul work that you facilitate, through the transformational outcomes that you generate with your clients, it actively creates an energetic charge, a magnetism. You know the feeling when you are like doing the work that you're here to do, when you have a session with a client that's like so totally profound that it moves you, that it touches you, that it gives you that sense of deep connection to purpose. This is what I'm here to do. So you and your business, it creates an energetic charge, and this is what actively makes the sales spiral spin. Now, if you think about a spiral, right? We have multiple access points. So you need a lead generation strategy. You need a strategy that brings fresh people into your sales spiral. How are you actively getting your message, your mission, your purpose, your transformational work out to a wider variety of people? How are you showcasing the work that you do? Do you have a visibility strategy? So multi-author book is a fabulous visibility strategy. Appearing on other people's podcasts is a fabulous visibility strategy. Plugging into other people's audiences is a brilliant visibility strategy, especially in the beginning when you're building up your audience yourself, your community. Appearing on summits like this, speaking on podcasts, generating publicity and PR, contributing to a multi-author book, writing blogs, guest blogging on people's websites or on, the big blog websites, doing local things, hosting workshops, hosting circles, hosting anything that gets you in front of more people is what is called a visibility strategy. And it's super, super important. Otherwise, you're going to find that you're going to be recycling the same kind of clients. People are going to be coming through, and then eventually they're going to be kind of coming to the end of the road. Of course, clients will always evolve with you, but unless you want to always continue to work with the same people, you need to have a visibility strategy. A referral strategy is also a visibility strategy. Think about it like eyes on your business. How are you getting more eyes on your business? What is your social media strategy? Do you have a strategy, different strategies for different platforms? For example, on Instagram, you have a very different viral strategy than you do on Facebook or on TikTok or on YouTube, right? Or on LinkedIn. So understanding how the different platforms generate viral visibility is really important. Understanding how your unique blueprint is going to function with those strategies is really important. But ultimately, you want to have an aspect of your sustainable scaling strategy that is clearly growing the pipeline process. How am I bringing new people into my pipeline, into my sales spiral? So once they're in your spiral, they are circulating, they're moving closer and closer. And what actually shows up and drives that spiral is you. So what drives that spiral is you showing up, creating phenomenal trainings, shifting people's mindset, giving people opportunity to learn from you, to feel you, to encounter your work, to like have a little taste of who you are and your style. Now, there's always exceptions to the rule, but they typically say that for most people, it requires at least 36 touch points before someone makes a decision to buy from you, especially at a higher price point. So if you have more VIP option or a more high-end programs that you're selling. Always exceptions to the rule, and that very much changes when you're dealing with low ticket offers, right? However, when you've got a higher ticket offer, you want to understand that, yes, there will be exceptions, but for the majority of people, they're going to want to have multiple experiences of feeling your work, of like understanding how your frequency matches with their frequency at an energetic level. They want to hear you in your zone of genius. They want to hear how you shift their perception around the area that you specialize in. If someone has an aha moment through a free piece of content that you've created, whether that's a written or a video content, then if they have an aha moment and that aha moment actively shifts something for them in their life, then that's huge money in the bank, so to speak, right? When it comes to how they see you, how they like, if they see your name come up on their profile on their social media, they're like, oh, I'm going to actually pay attention to what she has to say. Because the last time I paid attention to what she had to say, I had a massive aha moment that shifted things for me. And that was through her free stuff. Imagine what would be possible through her paid stuff. So a strategy that has you appear on the stage, on the social media stage, but that also shifts the way they view themselves, that shifts the way they view the problems that they're experiencing in their life, that shifts the way they view what's possible for them, and that actively shows them that you understand them and you have the tools and the programs and the strategies that can help them shift from where they are now to where they want to be. Now, I do lots of different types of strategy when it comes to content, when it comes to like nurturing your people, whether that's through free workshops, through low ticket workshops, whether that's through video content, through short form reels, through long form workshops like this, whether that's through written stuff, all different types of strategies, all different types of content, disruptive content that shifts the way they view the world, that shifts and that helps them to see things, that disrupts their paradigm. Storytelling content where they really feel your heart, they feel your journey, and they connect with you at the heart level. Informational content where they're learning strategies, like little micro pieces from your paid offerings. Case studies, of course, really important. Testimonials to see social proof. Inspirational content that encourages them to keep going, to keep turning up, even when they feel like they don't want to anymore. And many, many more, many different types. But it's important to have strategies, online and offline strategies, that nurture your people. From there, we have the sales, right? So the different ways upon which you need to sell. We've got different personality types. So understanding how, like when it comes to your soulmate client, understanding them inside out, understanding what's their personality type. How do they like to be sold to? And a little hack here, your soulmate clients typically like to be sold to the way that you like to be sold to. So how do you like to sell? Pay attention to that. Do you go intuitively? Do you go with the feeling? Do you need to know all the information? Do you need to have the data? Are you the kind of person who skips through a sales page, or do you read through every little piece? Really pay attention to the way in which you sell, the way in which you buy, so that you can see and model that in your own sales pipelines. But having a variety of different types of conversion events and sales processes and sales systems. Do you prefer to do phone calls? Do you prefer to do conversations in the DM? Do you prefer to have no conversation at all and have people buy directly from a link? All of that is going to change the way in which you design your strategy, okay? And then we have the different offers, the different programs, the different ways in which people can go on this client journey, this ascension journey with you. So the beautiful thing about this is that we can look at it from both angles. I like to begin with the end in mind. So I will look at the programs, the containers, the offerings that my client is wanting to create. Are they super duper excited about it? Are they lit up with excitement and joy and aliveness and vitality about what they are teaching and what they are facilitating? That is essential because people need to feel that you are invested in your work if you're going to ask them to be invested in your work. And if you're showing up and selling something just because it's sold in the past or because you see other people do it, then that's going to be missing a very vital piece. So begin with the end in mind and then work backwards. But you want to have a very clear understanding of this spiral system in order to facilitate a business journey, a sales and service journey that feels really fucking good for you and for your clients and your community. Now, the sales piece in Business Alchemy is very important. We, as like highly connected, heart-centered people, have been through many experiences where we can come to a point where we feel quite jaded about sales. We can feel quite jaded about business. We've been sold to in ways that feel really yuck. We've been on the receiving end of very manipulative sales strategies. And so we can sometimes have a bit of an aversion to showing up and selling. Even if, like, at the core of it, we are in business and we do rely on that money, that income to sell. We can sometimes we can have an aversion because we don't want to be seen as manipulative. We don't want to be seen as pushy. We don't want to be seen as sleazy. We don't want to be associated with that. We can have what I often like to call the inner dodgy salesman archetype shadow. The inner dodgy salesperson shadow. It's like I have a shadow around that. The Carl Jungian perspective of the shadow is like something that you resist or avoid or judge about yourself and about other people. And then you put it into the subconscious basement and you turn away and you try to deny it, and it just comes out in other ways. And the very big, real problem with this is that it will actively impact your bottom line. It will actively see you sabotage your business because you don't want people to perceive you like them, right? So I do lots of alchemical work with my clients at the subconscious level to rewire these kinds of archetypal shadows. Because when you cut yourself off from like if you have a strong dodgy salesman archetype inside of you, then you also cut yourself off. That's like the dark side of that shadow. The fear of manipulation, the fear of like being manipulative, the fear of being needy, greedy, sleazy. That's the darker side. All archetypes exist on a spectrum. You also cut yourself off from the light side. And the light side is what I like to call your inner sales queen. The part of you who sees sales as sacred service, as sacred opportunity to expand into phenomenal new paradigms. It is like a service for the collective. The way you sell is the way you serve. And you show up to your sales journey, your sales pipeline, your sales spiral, your marketing, your positioning, all of this conversion events, all of this, you show up to it through that lens of like every piece of content, every workshop, everything that I'm putting out there into the world is done with an offering of, I trust that this facilitates transformation. And ultimately, I'm going to make an invitation and feel invited, not obligated. And that invitation is if you resonate with this, if you resonate with my energy, if this has made you think about things in a different way, then I have many opportunities for you to work with me at a deeper level. And you can experience this for yourself. You can experience my wisdom, my magic for yourself and insert your niche here, right? So when you can see sales like that, it truly becomes like you are serving the collective. And so I like to use I like to have the belief that my free content is just as fucking potent and powerful and transformational as my paid content, as my paid programs and my paid offerings. And if I feel good about that, then I'm not going to have any problem showing up to sell. So we're going to move on to the fourth phase. I'm going to have some water. And all of these lock together. Okay, so the fourth phase is, and it's very connected to sales actually, of course. The fourth phase is sacred prosperity and soul connection. So this is about redefining success. This is about redefining prosperity, redefining wealth, redefining it all so that it aligns with your values. You're not sacrificing things in your personal life in order to create success. I call this the self-sacrificing paradigm. Yes, I can create a 7-figure business over here, but it's going to come at the cost of my health, at the cost of my relationships, at the cost of my congruence, at the cost of my integrity, whatever it is. Insert sacrificial paradigm outcome. How do you define prosperity? How do you define wealth so that it aligns with your spiritual and your energetic values? Now, I want to share Richard Rudd, the founder of the Gene Keys body of work. I love the way he describes prosperity because it is a sacred thing. He says that prosperity is the meeting place between wealth and abundance and simplicity. If you have a business that generates huge amounts of money, but it is complex as fuck, and that complexity, like it adds overlays of complexity in your personal life, overlays of complexity in your health, in your relationships. That is not true in your time. That is not true wealth. On the other hand, if you have a business that is deeply anchored in simplicity, but that doesn't bring through any prosperity and wealth, that is not a business that is prosperous at all. So I really encourage my clients to always come back to this. Is it simple? Does it feel good in my system? Does it align with my values? AKA, for me, I spent many years building a business that sacrificed my time, my presence, and my peace with my family and the ones that I love the most, the ones who I actually started out in business for. And I had to have some super confronting conversations with many important people in my world, including my partner and myself, about like, is this worth it? Right? That's not true prosperity. You're going to end up resenting your business. You're going to end up burning that motherfucker down. And I'm sure many of us have actually done that because it doesn't feel good. It's got to feel good. It's got to feel aligned and congruent. So how do you define sacred prosperity, sacred service, sacred sales? Right? This is all about being integrated with the uprising of the consciousness of the planet. So if your sales systems is old frequency, if your belief system about money is old frequency, meaning if you're aligning with old ancestral beliefs about money, old paradigms about needing to work really hard, needing to sacrifice in order to create success, needing to have, money come at the cost of something, money being this like convoluted, really dense energy that is deeply connected to scarcity, that's deeply connected to survival. At the end of the day, money is a neutral energy, and we energetically charge it based on the belief systems of our family, the belief systems of the society that we're born into, and the collective opinions of what's happening in the collective consciousness at that time. If you don't do conscious awakening work around wealth and prosperity and money, and you are in business, you are making life so much harder for yourself. And not only that, but you are likely repeating old beliefs, old patterns, old paradigms that you inherited from your ancestors. So in order to come into this fourth phase, which is sacred prosperity and soul connection, we need to unravel our money story, unravel the belief systems, the things that we've charged money and sales and what we make that mean, what we make success mean, the hidden agendas that underlie all of our decisions, all of our strategies that we decide upon, right? So it's like if I have my sense of self-worth so intimately tied up with the success of my business, then if my business goes through a dip in a very natural roller coaster ride, then I take that as a personal affront to my sense of worth. So this is really important inquiry. How do I unravel that so that I'm actively like, it is clear, it is clean, it is separate from me? The results, external results that I get externally to me actually has nothing to do with my innate sense of self-worth. It is separate. I am worthy simply because I exist, simply because I am a soul having a human body experience. That makes me worthy. It's got nothing to do with the money in my bank account. It's got nothing to do with the amount of clients that I have. It's got nothing to do with the results my clients are getting. separation. We have to separate. We have to unravel here. We have to redefine success and wealth so that it aligns with what we want, with the things that we say we're calling in, with our values. Money mindset shifts, releasing scarcity, embracing wealth as a form of spiritual growth. Now, this is quite a rebellious belief system in the spiritual community. It is one that's being challenged by a lot of up and coming people who are really like waking up to this. But, you know, it stems from old Catholic dogma that money is the root of all evil, that wealthy people can't be trusted. I stand for something very different. I stand anchored in the belief that money is, and wealth, it is a spiritual journey. And when you can come and understand it through that perspective, wow, it is a form of spiritual growth. It is incredible how much that impacts the very lived real experience you have with managing and growing your day-to-day business. We want to make sure that we're creating a prosperity practice that circulates our resources with intention and that really aligns with a heart-centered, heart-led approach. So I always think about this to ensure that my integrity is really like locked in here with my money. How am I giving back to people? Saoirse, she demonstrates this beautifully with her book projects and ensuring that she gives people the opportunity who might not have had the opportunity to work with her and to have this experience. The number one thing is prioritizing the fact that this has to come from overflow, not from depletion. So you serve through the overflow. You create prosperity practices through the overflow. You circulate resources and opportunities from the overflow, not from depletion. And then, of course, it's also about tuning into the soulmate, like the soul blueprint of the people who you're here to work with, and understand, like, what is it that they need to hear? What is it that they need to feel? What is it that they need to connect with in order to feel this energetic exchange as being a really empowering thing? Okay, so I'm looking at the time and we're coming up to the end of the hour. So I want to take you through a very potent but brief guided visualization to help you anchor all of what I've spoken about in the somatic wisdom of your body. So please join me if you can. If you're driving, then definitely not a good time to do this. But if you have the space and the desire, I invite you to close your eyes and to get really, really settled in your body, settled in your skin. And take a big deep breath. And just take a moment to let your body let in everything that I've spoken about today. Hopefully you've had some big aha moments and some big shifts. Hopefully my intention is that this workshop has shifted the way you view your business, the way you view business in general, the way you turn up to your soul's mission. I want you to take a breath and imagine that your roots are extending down through the body. You might like to see an actual root, like a root of roots of a tree, extending down through the body, down through the layers of the earth, down through the rocks, through the damp moisture, through the darkness of the powerful grounding earth energy, and connecting all the way down to the core of Mama Gaia. Connecting to the ancestral wisdom that lives in the earth, in the underworld. Calling up the spiritual wisdom that lives in the earth herself and everything that she's lived through, everything that she's seen. And connecting to your nature as an animal of the earth. And this is almost imagining yourself connecting to like the soft animal of your body, as Mary Oliver likes to call it, the soft animal of your body, your primal nature, your instinct. And drawing that wisdom up to the heart. And then imagining, if you will, that you can come to the top of your crown and you can open up your crown like a trapdoor, and you can extend your awareness all the way up through the layers of your aura, popping out over your aura, all the way up through the layers of the atmosphere, popping out through the atmosphere of the earth, and extending your awareness all the way up. Maybe you want to connect it and plug it into the galactic center of the Milky Way. Maybe you want to plug it into a particular star system if you resonate with the star system. Maybe you just want to plug into the sun, to the great central sun, and feeling the expansiveness that comes with being connected to the cosmos, calling in ancestors through this pole, calling in star family, calling in cosmic wisdom, and then bringing it down, back down through the crown, back down through the third eye, through the throat, and meeting in the heart. And here you are, a body, a channel, grounding spiritual cosmic wisdom here in the earth, and bringing ancestral earth wisdom up into the cosmos. And so from this place, I want you to take a moment to focus on your purpose in this lifetime. What am I here to do? How am I here to serve the collective? You might imagine a contract that you've signed at the beginning of this lifetime. And in that contract is all of the people who you are contracted to work with, all of the souls who are going to find you along your journey, all of the transformational experiences that you're going to receive and you're going to give. It is contracted. It is happening. And in that, lessons learned, patterns uncovered, experiences felt. And I want you to see if you can find some deeper words, some deeper verbiage around what you're here to do in your business at the core of it. So much more than just the services that you facilitate. You're doing something magical. You are here to create epic transformation. You are a catalyst for transformation. So what is that transformation you're here to facilitate? And I want you to sense the energy in your body. I want you to sense your nervous system. This body, this human form. Where does your energy feel aligned? Where does it feel open and expansive? Where do you feel contracted and closed? How do you feel about showing up to sell? What does that do to your energy when you think about going live and making a pitch, inviting someone to work with you, getting on a sales call, sending someone a PDF of your program? How do you feel about it? And where in your body do you need to release? Where in your body do you need to shift the energy, get the energy moving so it doesn't stagnate, so it doesn't calcify? And then I want you to imagine in your mind's eye that you can see like the epitome of your soulmate client is one person. You might actually like to think of a particular person who you know is a soulmate client. Or it might just be an amalgamation of all of them. But I want you to understand them at a soul level. Why have they chosen you? What is the magic that happens when the two of you come together to co-create, to work together? I want you to understand what it is that they need, what it is that they need to hear, what it is that they need to experience in order for them to find the courage to say yes to themselves and find the resources to say yes to you. How can they best be served by you? What is the highest level transformation you're here to facilitate for them? And then I want you to take a breath, and I want you to connect with the energy of money, the energy of prosperity. And I want you to feel that it is actually, money is a neutral energy. It is a spiritual resource gifted by God, and it flows through you. You can plug into the energy of wealth, and you can unplug from the energy of wealth. You can be open to receive and you can be closed to receive. But it is a sacred flow. It is this sacred flow. This is how resources come into people's worlds, whether that's cash, whether that's client, whether that's mentors. And it supports both of you and both you and your client on their growth, on their journey. So where do you need to recreate your relationship with money? Where do you need to rewrite the story? And then I want you to take a breath and allow all of this to settle in your system. And if you have the space, after this is a great time to do some channeling, to do some visioning, to open yourself up to new ideas and allow yourself to be the channel for them. Recognizing that this is your wisdom, your life's journey to experience all of this, and your client's soul contract to find you and to work with you. So coming back, opening up your eyes, coming back to the space, and we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much for being with me. If you'd like to find out more about me, you're welcome to add me as a friend on social media. My website is tarshashwin.com, TARSHASHWIN.com, or you can find me on Instagram at tarshashwin. It's been a total pleasure and an absolute honor, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the summit. Okay, take care.